Arkansas Razorbacks over the 2-seeded St. John's Johnnies here.
St. John's Johnnies.
St. John's Johnnies. That was a quite the win, quite the statement for Arkansas today.
Yeah, it was something that I don't know how many of us expected at the start of the tournament. I don't know how many of us saw them getting into the tournament as recently as 2 weeks ago. I think that we talked about this earlier, Jeff. I think that this coaching performance from John Calipari in terms of being able to keep his team together has been something that has been really, really underrated in terms of how well he's been able to do here. The matchup was beneficial for them in the sense that they had the length and athleticism to be able to handle the physicality of St. John's. And I think St. John's kind of got in their heads a little bit. R.J. Lewis was really bad today. R.J. Lewis, 3 for 17 from the floor. Didn't play the last 5 minutes of the game. You could tell he was pressing a little bit. I thought Arkansas was able to take them out of the game. Credit to Boogie Flan. Credit to DJ Wagner, who played really well. Jonas Adu had a great game.
Billy Richmond.
Billy Richmond was also – where's he from?
Memphis 10, baby. Goodman knows. Son of a tiger.
They got contributions, and they needed contributions from everybody. But this kind of – I mean, it's crazy because, Rick Pitino's been waiting to take care of John Calipari for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cal's had his number for a while at Kentucky when Rick was at Louisville. Had more talent. He ran college basketball. He had all the one-and-dones. They split national titles, both won a national title. But St. John's came in as the number 2 seed in Providence, where Rick Pitino coached. Everything pointed to the Johnnies winning this game. And instead, it was really Arkansas who controlled it. I mean, St. John's couldn't shoot. And we knew they couldn't shoot.
Shocking.
But this was even bad for St. John's. That's how bad this was.
I fainted in the sports book today. I just couldn't believe that St. John's had a poor day offensively.
What?
No, I just couldn't believe it. I mean,
Why?
It's very uncharacteristic.
Every game they couldn't. I mean, not every game.
They're normally
obviously
a great
being
shooting
sarcastic.
team. It's like when you talk about the best shooting teams in college basketball, it's BYU, it's Kentucky, it's St. John's.
Right.
They're right
just,
there.
that's the tournament, man. Just cruel day offensively.
I will say.
How do you sit R.J. Lewis at the end of that game?
He
I don't care if he's 3 for 17.
No.
I don't care. You needed R.J. Lewis. You needed to talk to him, figure it out. He's your best player all year. You don't sit him for the final 5 minutes. You got to figure it out.
First of all, I would argue that Zuby Ejiofor was their best player all year. I think he was better.
Okay, whatever. 1A, 1B. I don't care.
You could tell
he was the Big East player of the year, was he not?
He was, but
Okay.
he was pressing.
Well.
He was pressing. He was not.
That doesn't mean he's not going to play well in crunch time.
Why? Why would he?
They made a comeback with him out.
Yeah.
Did they win?
They made the comeback with him out, and he was bad down the stretch. He was pressing. He was trying to get physical. He took like 4 or 5 bad shots in a row, and I think there's room to criticize Rick Pitino there probably. I think that it's a justifiable decision and one where if you're Pitino and you see your guy his head was not in it, man. You could see his head was not in it. I will say this, though, about John Calipari. This dude took shots from everyone, including us, right? All season long. And a lot of them were justified. A lot of them were justified. But this dude went into Kentucky, the place that more or less ran him out, and put a whooping on Mark Pope, the new coach that they brought in, right? This dude goes to the NCAA tournament when no one thought he could get there, gets to the second round, beats Bill Self along the way, goes into Providence, beats Rick Pitino.
He beat the best 2 coaches in the country.
And yes. And like I think that right now, what he's done this season is the pinnacle of like the ability to troll everyone. No one can tell him anything right now.
Well, what it really says is the regular season doesn't really mean shit. Just get in. Get in. And then win in the tournament. We've known that, but this is the ultimate display of, you know what, just win in the tournament, get going. And again, it is amazing that he beat Bill Self and Rick Pitino, the 2 guys that if you polled every coach in America, if I polled everybody, they would be 1 and 2 in terms of the best X's and O's guys in the sport. And the guy who can't coach and can't drop a play, supposedly, beat them both. And I know we talked about it earlier. He didn't have to drop a lot because he had a bunch of dudes that could put it on the floor and make plays. That's what this team has been about, and that was on full display today because you had guys like Billy Richmond doing it, DJ Wagner doing it. I mean, everybody was able to get to the basket virtually at will against a St. John's defense that was considered as good as any, probably not named Houston this year.
Yeah, they got paint touches every possession they wanted to. And
Crazy.
Cal didn't run a damn thing. You know what they did? We were talking about literally right there, John. We were like, all right, watch what's going to happen. Give the ball to DJ Wagner. All right, they're going to run up a big for a ball screen.
Yeah.
They're going to come off the ball screen. Either they're going to switch it and he's going to go one-on-one against Zuby, or they're not, and he's going to go find a way to get a paint touch.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't really reinventing the wheel there.
Yeah, but credit to him because it was working. It was working, and he had the matchups. That's where I think this worked out well for Arkansas because they had the length, the physicality, and the athleticism to handle what St. John's does best.
Yeah.
And they had two little quick guards in Boogie Flynn and DJ Wagner who were able to get in the lane whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, Goodman was talking about it, like, you know, he beat two of the best coaches. He beat, you know, Bill Self and Rick Pitino. Well, first of all, Cal is in that conversation too. It's not like –
not as an X's and O's guy, as a recruiter, as a motivator.
I mean, it all goes into
the whole package. What I'm saying is, in a one-game situation where, you know, there was fairly equal talent.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
fairly equal talent on the court today. Fairly equal talent on the court 2 days ago when they played Kansas, and he beat both of those dudes. But that is damn impressive.
It is. It's one of the best jobs. I mean, I don't want you to accuse me of any shit here, man. I don't want you to accuse me of working for a PR firm. But it is one of the best coaching jobs Cal has done. Now, with that being said, you know, it's
over the last third of the season.
It's a team that should never be – that it should have never been a 10 seed, right? It's a team that should never be an underdog in the first two rounds of the tournament based on the talent they have. With that being said, you know, we talked about this yesterday. This is where Cal is at his absolute best. He's playing with house money. People are excited that, you know, Razorback fans are excited that they're here, and he's loose, and that makes him a dangerous coach, and this team a dangerous team.
I don't think it's playing with house money. I think what is making him so dangerous is he's now the underdog again. He's now the guy that's been counted out. Like when he was at UMass, no one thought he could win. Like no one expected him to be a Final Four team at UMass, right? Yeah. He gets to Memphis.
Nobody expected him to be a Final Four team in Memphis.
He is the underdog at Memphis.
He had been run out of the NBA.
Yes. You get to then you take Memphis and you get the Kentucky job. And everyone said, you can't win with freshmen, man. You can't put together a team with all of these freshmen and be able to win. And then he reached the mountaintop. And once he reached the mountaintop, it's very different once you are the hunted instead of being the hunter. And I feel like he's kind of moved to this role, or he's back to being the hunter a little bit again. Now, look, didn't have a great regular season. Everyone knows that. Regular season. That's how you know it's been a long day, once your voice starts cracking like that. But he has gotten it done when it mattered. He turned this thing around. He kept them together. All credits to him. Great season.
Yeah, no, I'll be interested to see, like, how far this thing goes. Because, honestly, that's not a team that I would want to step in front of.
Nope.
They're hot as fish grease, Jeff Goodman. Hot as fish grease.
They're talented. And again, they underachieved for the first two-thirds of the season. But when it matters most in this sport, he has found a way to get these guys to rally, to play together, to not give up, to not play selfish, to not think about the portal or the NBA or all that stuff.
He got Boogie Flynn to come back.
Yeah.
Boogie Flynn
made a huge defensive play.
And everyone else come off the bench.
You know what everyone else does in that situation if you're Boogie? You shut it down, man. His draft stock is good. Like, people know where he's going.
It's not as good. That's
still.
It's not as good as it was.
Still.
So I think, again, if it was locked in where he was a lottery pick, I'm not sure he comes back. He's not. I don't think he's a lottery pick.
Might end up coming back.
Yep.
Listen, we just had